ESL Pro League Finals is underway. I'm here with dupreeh. After the 2-1 victory over Virtus.pro, you took revenge after Copenhagen games, and even with a stand-in. So let's first talk about that. First off, when did you actually find out that you would have to bring Katie in instead of Device?
Well, the story was that we had finished our practice on, that would be on Wednesday. We had finished our practice, and we know that Device was already sick. And then, like 20 minutes after we had finished, he texted us saying, "I'm feeling really bad, and I've just went to like emergency doctor, and like he really tells me not to go anywhere." And like, so we were like 12 hours before we had to pick our flight from Copenhagen. We had to find a stand-in, and then I had to drive from Sweden because I live there, so I had to get back to Denmark and stuff like that. And then we had, first of all, we had actually found another stand-in, but then in the morning he was like, "I can't go anyways." And then we were like 6 hours before we had to leave, we didn't have a stand-in yet, so it was a problem. But we found Kaden, and we are happy that he had time to go with us. So far, it's good. So
you actually didn't have enough time to prepare with Kaden, not at all?
No, not at all. It was basically the last chance. Like we booked his flight like 3 hours, like what, 4 hours before he had to fly. So it was just like, it was a last chance thing. So we were just happy that he actually had time for it.
So since you have so much experience with facing Virtus.pro, how did you feel like about the video? You got to overpass Cash and Mirage. Did you feel like you were comfortable with those maps?
Yeah, pretty much. I think they got surprised that we played overpass against them because we played really close with them at Star Ladder. But I think they updated overpass since then. But we played a little back home, so I think they got surprised that we actually picked that one instead of like picking. I think we had the chance to pick Nuke and stuff like that. But overall, I just think they got surprised that we were confident on overpass. We know that we could beat them in Cash, and Mirage we beat them at Copenhagen games. So we kind of knew how they would play. So we just had to deal with it and just be focused and hit our shots, and we were confident about it.
So let's talk a little bit about the update that happened 10 days ago. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that changed. Well, it doesn't really concern you, but the op got probably the most, well, the nerf that you actually can notice the most. So what do you feel about that? What do you think? Which oppers do you think it will affect the most?
In general, I think I like the updates. I guess I like parts of the update, but I also dislike some of them. I guess that's how it always is. I think it's going to affect players like Kenny S and JW. Basically, the very aggressive operas that really like jump around and take chances and jump through smokes and whatnot, all that stuff. You know, it's not, you can't really do that anymore, and it's really hard to like if you peek an op. It's really difficult because like you're moving so slow, so you really need to like be specifically on point where he is if you need to kill him. So I think it's going to be hitting the aggressive ops the most, where it's going to benefit a lot for the more defensive ops, because like peeking them now is even harder than it was before. So I think it hurts the aggressive ones most. But overall, I think it's okay. The SMGs they might need a little bit of a tweak. They're probably a little bit too strong, but it's a good way of countering the Tech 9 thing, where you can still win it with Tech 9s of this, but it's a good counter at some point. But so far, it's just a new meta. Like things change all the time. We just need to adapt to it. Even though we whined about it in the beginning, you just need to get the flow with it. And like, you know,
yeah, I guess everybody whined about the updates at first, at least. You mentioned the Tech 9. What do you think about that? What do you think the nerfs were enough?
Well, I still have my personal opinion about pistols in general, that they're way too accurate when you're like running and all that. You can basically just hit your key like S backwards key, and then you still hit straight if someone comes close to you, and you can still jump around like an idiot and stuff like that. I think it's broken, but that's just how it works. Nerfing the pistol with what I think it's 8 bullets. Whatever. I don't think the problem, like, yeah, of course the problem was the armor, but the problem is still the running accuracy and the fact that you can basically run around like a retard and actually still get something out of it. But yeah.
What about overpass? You actually got to play it. So what do you think about the changes to the A-bomb site?
You need to play it different right now. I remember back in the days when you had like this small house you could go into, and you had, I think they've changed like 3 times now or something. I think they should probably try and find a mix between the first edition and how it is now, because right now you're really very limited to actually play aggressive on the A side. Like, you need to play on toilets or underground and all that stuff. You need to make setups so you can help each other play like aggressive, because if you let the terrorists just get all the way up to the bomb side and they smoke off, and like, it's so awkward to stand on that side when you have to play defensive, because like you just need 2 smokes, then it's basically you need to win your duel, otherwise you're screwed. So I don't know. It's a mix. I think it's okay, but I think they need to tweak it a little bit more.
So another thing that got changed, even though slightly, but it did, the tagging, because right now it just kind of takes into consideration what kind of a weapon you're holding, what kind of a weapon you're against. So is it something that you can actually notice inside the game, or is it something that you just like got used to really quickly?
Honestly, I haven't really paid that much attention to it. It might have happened to me where it wouldn't have in the previous version, but it hasn't affected my play at least, so I don't really have a comment on that.
So last but not least, Valve decided to change Nuke for Train. I know it's very early to tell, but what do you think about Train, and what do you think about Nuke being removed from the map pool?
I mean, we have always been really good at Nuke. It's been one of our best maps, if not the best, so obviously it's kind of sad for us, but at the same time, we had also lost a lot of very important matches on Nuke against NIP and stuff like that. So, but I agree that they might need to change it a little, because it's too easy. Like, the choke points are too small. You can just smoke it off and you just wait, and yeah, basically every time you get a kill, CTs can, like, the rotation is just so fast. So it's basically you need someone to get like an insane round as terrorists to just actually, like, if you're at the same equal level and skill, it's basically down to individual performance. If someone just snaps two guys really fast and stuff like that, or you get the read. Like, if I think you see like this, like if the CTs are playing it perfectly, whereas like they got the rotation and the read perfectly almost every time, the only reason they can lose a round is if they fail in like individually. So if you just make the rotation correctly, you will get at least 13 rounds of CT, and that's kind of a little bit too harsh on the terrorists, I think.
And what about Train? Did you get to play it? Did you get to like walk around?
Oh, a little bit, like not a lot. Like, we're probably gonna look at it when we get home, but we haven't had time. We have had other maps to focus on, so Train is not. It's probably gonna be one of our focus points when we get home, but so far it hasn't. I've only played in matchmaking, and it's the same as the old prize. I think they the feedback they get all the time is gonna help them, but they probably have to tweak it here and there. So.
One of the last questions, you're going to face Dignitas. How are you looking forward to the domestic matchup?
Well, we beat them pretty easily in Copenhagen games, at least in the upper bracket. We had some problems in the lower bracket in the beginning, in the end, but we beat them both times there, and we have a really good idea how they play, and they probably have a really good idea how we play too. So it's going to come down to people have to step up individually, and we just have, like, I still think we're the stronger lineup, so we just have to play our game and just stay focused, and then I think it should be no problem.
So, as a last question, this one's going to be a little controversial. How do you like your hotel's feature?
Well, it actually came down to, it was me and Kerrigan that got to the hotel first, and when we found out there was a glass door to our toilet and he could basically look at me while I was doing my stuff out there, then we decided to take the other room. So now it's Cajun and Sydney's living there, so it's a little bit Germanish. So I would prefer to have a wooden door or something else, so it would cover it. I love my teammates, but not that much.
All right, that's pretty much it. Do you have anything last to add? Any last words, shoutouts?
Just a quick shout out to, well, of course, the device, since he's at home and he couldn't be here with us. Then a shout out to all our sponsors from Team Solomid and obviously Team Solomid itself, and our manager, Casper, which is basically also at home. He couldn't be here today. And then just a shout out to all my family and all fans out there and stuff like that. We love you.
All right, that was dupreeh from ESL Pro League Finals. Be sure to check out HLTV.org for more interviews like this.